This was submitted by Obama Voted for Trump. We're going to start over on the Reddit, which we don't usually do that, but we're going to do things a little differently today. Elizabeth Warren blasts her fellow Democrats for supporting a massive bank deregulation bill. This is from Mother Jones. Elizabeth Warren blasts fellow Democrats for supporting a massive bank deregulation bill. The Senate just voted to increase the chances your money will be used to bail out big banks again. And the U.S. Senate on Tuesday cleared a key procedural hurdle needed to move forward with a major bank deregulation bill that could pass the chamber in the coming days. If it becomes law, the bank would significantly loosen Wall Street regulations that were put in place by the landmark 2010 Dodd-Frank legislation. Yeah, basically they rolled that back. So now it's banks that are worth over $250 billion, I believe is the figure. They're just pretty much deregulated as well. And one of the big banks that was involved in predatory lending, they point out, was a bank that was only worth $200 billion. So they're saying like, yeah, this is going to be further deregulated. One of the major changes proposed in the bill is a provision that would shrink the number of big banks under Dodd-Frank are subject to additional scrutiny designed to assess their ability to withstand financial shocks. In essence, extra checks to determine how likely the banks are to fail or to require a government rescue with public dollars. Currently, banks with at least $50 billion in assets are subject to additional supervision. The Senate bill would quintuple that threshold, meaning that banks would not receive any added scrutiny if they have less than $250 billion in assets. Forever Voting Third Party says they rolled it back because so many bankers went to jail. I think you're being sarcastic because I don't think any bankers went to jail. Unless you know about something I don't. And you know what? I'm not trying to single out Elizabeth Warren in this, for instance, but this is sort of what we see. They end up deregulating it anyway, and the Republicans could not have gotten this done without the help of Democrats. Keep in mind, Democrats helped out. Even the Democrats that voted against it, or at least spoke out against it, they didn't really do as much as they could. Chuck Schumer, for instance, as the minority leader, he could have done more to prohibit this from going to the floor. He did absolutely nothing, nor did he even tell his colleagues how to vote on it. Similar to Nancy Pelosi and DACA. You know, she did this really nice political theatrical move where she stood for 8 hours and really made it seem like she was for the Dreamers. But in reality, she didn't even tell her party to vote that way. She didn't even tell her party to stand up for DACA. She actually said it's a good deal, quote unquote. So it was theater. And guys, to be honest, this is little more than theater. Elizabeth Warren, just like what she did with Wells Fargo. Elizabeth Warren said a lot of really nice things. And she sounded really passionate. And she probably embarrassed that Wells Fargo CEO pretty good. But as far as any consequences, were there any? No. Well, wait, excuse me, I take that back. There were some consequences. The employees got fired. The employees who were underpaid and were following orders, not even really realizing what they were doing in most cases, they got fired. People at the top that started the wheel of corruption, they got bonuses. As Forever Voting Third Party points out, they got bonuses. That's what they got. Same thing here. I mean, this deregulation bill, it's upon us. It's happening. Democrats did nothing to stop it. In fact, Democrats helped it move forward. And, you know, that's what's going on here. Hello from Montana. William says, what's up? My two Democratic senators voted in favor of this. Frederick points out, my two Democratic senators voted in favor of this. Shaheen in New Hampshire and Hassan in New Hampshire. They are also superdelegates that voted for Hillary, even though Bernie won the state with 60% of the votes. This is your resistance, everybody. This is your resistance. So Elizabeth Warren, yeah, she blasts her fellow Democrats for supporting it. But guess what? They supported it anyway. And guess what? The minority leader who could have done more, Chuck Schumer, didn't do anything. He could have done more to stop it from going to the floor. The minority leader, he could have done more. He didn't do anything. So it's nice that Elizabeth Warren said some nice things. And maybe she's really passionate about it, but those are just words. Just like when she blasted the Wells Fargo CEO, those were just words. Policy, it was non-existent. And I'm not single-handedly blaming Elizabeth Warren. That's not what I'm doing at all. At least she's saying something. That's more than most people are doing. But this is just theater. This is just political theater. And, you know, one of the earliest lessons I learned in my life was actions speak louder than words. My mom taught me that when I was like, gosh, as long as I can remember, pretty much as soon as I could talk. I don't know why that's such a bogus lesson for people. I don't know why that's such a hard concept to grasp. I understood it by the time I was like 3 or 4 years old. What's so hard? Actions speak louder than words. So when you say a bunch of nice things, but when it comes time for policy, the Democrats just go lock and toe with the Republicans. It's hard to really think that we have choices. Jesse points out that Chuck Schumer's too busy throwing BDS under the bus. Yeah, that's the only time Chuck Schumer shows a backbone. When he needs to defend the military overextension of Israel. That's the only time he shows a backbone. Warren is brave when it's safe to be brave. She's progressive when it's safe to be progressive. I think that's a fair observation. Walk it back, Warren. Tim Kaine, that inspirational VP candidate, voted for it. Remember him? No, nobody does. Tim Kaine voted for it. You know who else did? Doug Jones. The guy who was so inspirational, he was barely 2 points more popular than a pedophile. In fact, he was under 2 points more popular than a pedophile. And he's voted with Trump 100% of the time since he's been in. 100% of the time. Broken Carpenter points out, but Pelosi spoke in heels. Yeah, that's going to go forward, and there's no resistance from either party. This is one of the many, many for instances where, once again, the Democratic establishment has failed us. Hey guys, thanks for watching. That was a clip from Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means I log on to a stream and people tweet me articles over on Twitter at Ron Placone, or they use our Reddit subsection, which is just Get Your News On with Ron over on Reddit. And that's how we build the show. I'm seeing all these articles for the first time. We are literally getting our news on together. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone so you can participate. And this show streams live every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please do tune in. If you want to support this show, you can do so over on patreon.com/Ron Placone, where for as low as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive podcasts every week, exclusive videos, free tickets to shows when I'm performing in your town, and more for as low as $1 a month. Please do consider it. Thank you so much for your support. This has been Get Your News On with Ron.